The Greek elections next week and the EU summit at the end of the month. And amid the uncertainty, what should you be doing with your funds? Well, for some answers, we're now speaking with Todd Everts from Forbes and Manhattan Capital Management in Hong Kong. Todd, what's your advice to clients when the markets have been volatile this past few weeks? Do you think the gains we're seeing can be sustained for the rest of the week at least?
Well, Dominic, that's a fantastic question. Certainly investors are quite jittery with what's happening in Europe and what's happening globally, not really sure what the prediction will be from the ECB and what the future economics will look like from the U.S. The fact that we've got an election year in the U.S. generally gives investors confidence that up until the election and after the election in the U.S., that usually gives a lot of investors confidence that the markets will rebound. This week, it's going to continue to be volatile. Why? Because we're not exactly sure what the ECB is going to do. Clearly, the ECB has a roadmap to look at from what happened in 2008 in a meltdown in the U.S. and globally, and they want to do everything they can to make sure that doesn't happen again. So it would suggest that they might want to lower interest rates to make the markets improve based on that so that companies have a lower cost of borrowing. But in general, this week is going to continue to be very, very choppy.
And better than expected GDP. Its economy is strongly fueled by resources. Do you think investors should start looking closely at mining counters?
Well, I think in general, investors need to keep a good portion of their capital invested in the commodity and resource sector. We've seen how middle class has continued to grow in the BRIC economies. And that middle class that has already started to consume these types of commodities and the need for these resources isn't going to change any time in the near future. And so as that economic growth continues in places like India and China, Brazil, Russia, even in parts of Africa, that demand is going to continue to move up prices. So over the next few days and next few weeks, especially as we move into the summer, which usually has less trading volume because the U.S. is on a holiday, over the long term, commodity, agriculture, and resources is the place that one needs to be.
Todd, just want to go back to the question about the ECB. G7 said that they would try to do something coordinated to boost confidence. So can we expect anything solid from the ECB tonight?
Well, that question is one that is on everyone's mind and has so many people on tenterhooks looking at how they're going to play the markets in the next 48 hours and through next week. The ECB, fortunately, has the ability to look at what happened in the U.S. and what the Fed did during the U.S.'s 2008 crisis, which it seems remarkable that was 4 years ago, but they have that ability to look at that and provide the confidence. So globally, investors are extremely concerned about what can happen based on what we're seeing happening in Spain and still what can happen in Greece. But overall, the ECB knows that confidence is key to bring people into the market and for the investors to stay.
All right, thank you so much, Todd, for being with us today. And we've been speaking with Todd Everts from Forbes and Manhattan Capital Management.